when you have a great leader that gets shot and or murdered by the CIA, you should go back and say, okay, well, that's one area where he didn't check that box. Something went wrong there. There was a failure in the system here that allowed this to happen. You shouldn't just assume that um, any black person who does something great is supposed to die. Like that's a defeatist mindset. No, they're supposed to live. They're supposed to flourish. They're supposed to succeed. So how do we make that happen? We do that by all of us working together and deciding what we're trying to do. So my last point on this, and then I'm gonna be done for tonight because we gotta get up in a few hours, is, and this is my wife. Hold on a second. Hey babe, I can I get an extra? y- y- Hey, I am live right now. You need something? Okay, babe. I'm go to the front desk and get it. Yeah, let me call you back. I need a couple minutes. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you can schedule for Friday. All right. I love you. Bye bye. Sorry. Okay. All right, sorry about that. All right, so here's my last point on this. Here's how here's how I think we can really win. Luckily, we don't have to have a whole bunch of people die. We don't have to have a whole bunch of people go to jail. The ancestors made that sacrifice for us, and I think we should be grateful for that. Also, remember that by living in the United States, as much as there are problems with this country, you are blessed beyond belief. You go to other countries and you see little children begging on the street, or you find out that anybody who makes over $60,000 a year, you're in the top 1% of all earners on the planet. That means you've got something to work with. African American people are very wealthy people, whether you know it or not. So, what I would say to you is the answer, in my view, it's not some big overarching vision where there's some charismatic guy or woman that comes along and just leads us all to the promised land. I don't believe in that form of black leadership. It has never worked. The solution starts with household by household, implementing certain standards that will allow us and our children to be able to win. If one family wins, and that ideology becomes contagious and that message is shared to 100,000 families and they all do the same thing, then we succeed. It is not hard, for example, for one black person to have a net worth higher than the average white person. That is not hard to do. The mathematics are very simple. A lot of you are investing in the stock market. You keep doing that consistently, you're going to have more money than white people. So if the answer is that simple, then why don't we pursue the simpler solution? The way you make the B1, the way you make the whole community more powerful than everyone else is you start person by person, family by family, group by group. So I can tell you, given that the economics is the number one source of oppression for black people, that mastering the economics should be the top priority. When you master the economics, there is no white person anywhere that's going to stop you from buying that share of stock. There's no white person going to stop you from starting that business. There's no white person that's going to stop you from saving for your family. There's no white person that's going to stop you from educating yourself and educating your kids. So that is your entry point. That's your opportunity. You don't have to fight for that. That's available to you, and all you got to do is go take it. But then also, the educational piece kicks in the sense of getting rid of unhealthy ideas that are very anti-wealth. For example, the way we look at children, we look at black children as a nuisance and having kids is a pain in the ass and just not worth the time. No, children are an investment. Children, if you invest in them and pour in them to them properly, that can be your key to immortality. That can also be your key to tremendous amounts of wealth because wealth comes from labor. Children provide labor. You just have to be able to target that energy into a structure, a family business that you have created in the previous generation. So all these little rules, there's blueprints everywhere on how this works. And once you get that power, you don't have to go fight a war for that. Nobody has to die for that, but you're gonna have to make a sacrifice. So the question is, what are you willing to sacrifice for?